So, being sick as a mom is like going to work while you have a fever, but your boss is your toddler and you have no days off. And so, this video is going to be dedicated to really sharing a lot of healthier alternatives and just practical tips that we can do and what you can do to build your immune system up and just to boost your immune system, especially because we're into fall season, flu season, mamas are getting sick, babies are getting sick, the whole household is getting sick. And so I want to make sure that we build ourselves up so that we can at least prevent ourselves from getting sick, but also if you do end up getting sick, make it more tolerable, especially when you have a kid. So if you're new here, I'm Jen. I'm a mom, a wife, and I co-own an online coaching business with my husband where we help hundreds of women just like you, especially mamas, get into the best shape of their life physically, mentally, spiritually. So if you like that kind of thing, then keep on watching and like and subscribe. Also, I am wearing our new Menta Mom merch. This is the Self-Care Club t-shirt that I made, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. If you guys are interested and want to purchase one yourself, I have it in a extra large. This is kind of like an oversized fit. Go and check out my website. Link is in the bio, and use a TFJ 10% to get 10% off. So I feel like when you're sick as a mom, it is literally like not meant for the weak. And if anything, it makes you feel stronger at the end of it because it really tests you. Like everything is just amplified and all you want to do is just like sleep and rest and you can't. And so I'm going to share some practical tips that have helped me get through those seasons, whether Michael's sick, Sean's sick, I'm sick, or all of us in between, or all of us are sick at the same time. These are things that have helped me as a mom and also before being a mom too. So hopefully it'll help you. And if there are any tips that I have not mentioned that you found useful, let me know in the comments. Let's help each other out and just start a thread down in the comments. So tip number one that might sound counterintuitive, and this is opening up all our windows, especially first thing in the morning. Especially when you're sick, you have kind of like circulating air that is probably filled with germs and viruses. And so opening up your windows, and I know especially in the fall, it can get a little colder, especially in the winter time. You want fresh air coming in because a lot of that, like I said, the germs, the carbon dioxide, the viruses that are circulating throughout the home, especially overnight, you want that out. And so opening up the windows fully, even the door if you can, even just for 5-10 minutes, we do this periodically throughout the day to ensure we're getting fresh air in, especially when you're cooped up indoors, you're sick, you're bedridden, you want fresh air. And a good example for this that really kind of changed the game for me was like, when you're in an airplane, and most of the time, I know I've gotten sick in the past just being in an airplane, you are breathing in recycled air. And so imagine you're just breathing that in like for 6 to 8 hours straight, right? The same applies even in your home. So having, fresh air circulating throughout the house is really key, especially if you don't have like those special filters and things like that to help kind of like clean the air. Number two, I always love this whenever I'm sick and I have a fever or sore throat, is creating a ginger lemon honey tea. And what's great about it, and this is something that we do, is I will boil the ginger for a good like 10-15 minutes. And guys, it is so potent and it feels so good in the throat. So I do that. I'll add some salt, even lemon, of course, for vitamin C, and ginger is kind of like your anti-inflammatory, and then you have honey, which helps with like sore throat and stuff. So having that like cocktail combination, I know some people like to even like add cayenne pepper in there. So let me know if that has helped you in the past. I know a lot of people have their own cocktail that they like to drink at home when their throat is really sore. I don't like buying or drinking the kind of like the packets. I don't know what they're called now. I think it's Neocitrin. Yeah. Do you guys remember that Neocitrin where you buy the packs and you just put it in? No. We need to make it all healthy alternatives here. That I find is a great alternative to that. And so having that in can be super helpful, especially if you are feeling sick. Number three, we're going to talk about nutrition, and it's all about kind of like comfort food related. I feel like when we're sick, and I know this is me too, where I just drop everything. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I don't want to do anything. All I want to do is just like sleep and like hibernate. And so the last thing I want to do, especially when it comes to nutrition, is like making food for myself. And I think this really has helped me a lot actually, is meal prepping anyway, and just having those meals ready in the fridge. But there are some days where I just want to have kind of like that comfort food, especially in the fall. And my favorite thing that I like to have is chili, simply because you could just throw a whole bunch of healthy whole foods in, like ground beef, carrots, celery, beans, you know, anything that you want to kind of whip up, even like hot sauce, cayenne pepper, like all things that are kind of like comfort food, but also really nutrient dense too. I like to put bone broth in there as well to make sure that I'm getting my minerals. And I prep like a huge batch of it. That way, for the next few days, I'm just pretty much eating that instead of ordering out and getting pizza or just snacking on chips and chocolates. Like we don't have junk food in our house. We don't buy junk food, but I know that sometimes it can be very convenient to go out and get a bite to eat or get some Uber Eats rather than making something that's like nutritious and also comforting that you could have throughout the week as well, especially when your appetite may not be the best, but also you want to make sure that you are really promoting recovery, especially when you're sick for a few days. Which leads me to the next thing, which is bone broth and kind of supplementation. When you are sick or you're just feeling really like kind of like either groggy or just kind of like bedridden for a few days, your appetite naturally goes down. And so you naturally don't want to eat anything. I know some people won't even eat the whole day. I know for me, I will probably eat every 2 to 3 hours or after like every like nap or I sleep, just to have something in me. So I like to have bone broth and we like to make a huge batch of that. You could even freeze them as well. And bone broth is really good. We like to actually add bone marrow in there. So it's very nutrient dense, very high in minerals and those micronutrients. And I like to drink that even just like a hot drink with my lemon ginger honey tea, and I like to sip on that too, and that really helps again promote healing when your appetite is low as well. Now with supplementation, a lot of people are different when it comes to like supplementation, but kind of my top supplements I like to take that I like to take when I'm sick or even just as a preventative measure too. Some of this can be super helpful. Sean actually likes to whip it up for me or put all these supplements in a bowl, and it's like, he calls it his kitchen sink, which essentially is just a whole bunch of different supplements in one, and I have to take it all in, and I hate it, but I got to do it. A lot of it is vitamin D and K2 that will really help with absorption, and so having that will help boost your immunity. Magnesium's really good, especially for achy muscles and just to promote better sleep. And this is magnesium biglycinate, just to be more specific, and I like to take that at nighttime. Another one would be even just a plain vitamin C. We like to also have fruit, but vitamin C can be useful. Quercetin as well is amazing when you're sick too. Those are just kind of like my top ones off the top of my head that we could think of. And vitamin Bs are also really good as well, but we really like to emphasize on that. And then also zinc. Zinc is also really good when you are sick. Next is sleep. And I know this is so tough when you are a parent because you pretty much are on call 24/7, like it does not stop. And so when that happens, I kind of just like reset my expectation of what I need to get done in the week. If I just want to sit on the couch and veg out, there is no problem. If you want to just set the TV on for 10-15 minutes just so that you could have a rest and your baby or whatever, your toddler can just sit and watch with you, if it's something that is not stimulating. I don't like to put a lot of stimulating shows on anyway, so I'll put on like a movie or something that we'll watch together, and even if it's just 10-15 minutes, like I find that that's fine. I know everyone's opinion of that is different, but I find that even just resetting my expectation on like things that I got to do, like laundry, meal prep, things like that, like those tasks I usually do throughout the week, I just kind of drop the ball on it, and I just give myself the permission to do that, because being sick is only temporary. It's only a few days, where you're kind of like, you need to focus on yourself and prioritize that. Do that, girl. Like, if you're not giving yourself the permission to do that, I will do that. I will take literally, just give me a day. Give me a half a day where I can just sleep as long as possible. And I know not everyone's situation is like this and everyone's circumstance is the same, but I'm very grateful that, my husband's here and he can, and he works from home and he can take Michael for a few hours and go out so that I can nap. My mom and my mother-in-law are just around the corner, so I'm very grateful with the support system that we do have that can take Michael for a few hours. That way I can just like rest and sleep, and it makes such a huge difference, even if that's one day, and I will take that one day, and that really helps. And so try to make sure, if you can, do things that will help you and support you in terms of getting that sleep and getting as much sleep as possible. Now, going over to the next tip, which is it kind of goes hand in hand with sleep, because when you're sick and you're pretty much sleeping all day, if you can, it can kind of throw off your circadian rhythm naturally. And so I always recommend, if you can, to even just step outside and get some sunlight first thing in the morning or throughout the day. That way that can reset your circadian rhythm, and also just getting that fresh air, like I said, so that you kind of get fresh air in. And even if maybe this is day 2 or day 3 of post being sick, get out and go for walks, even if it's down the street and back. It's good for your baby, it's good for you. You're getting that circulation, you're getting your blood flowing, you're moving your body even just a tad bit, even if you're not like walking really fast, and just a casual walk, that can make a difference in terms of you just feeling a little bit better and things kind of coming up, whether you have like built up phlegm or just to kind of get your blood flowing. Now, my next tip is for more homeopathic remedies. So if you want to stay away from kind of conventional medicines like Tylenol, ibuprofen, things like that, these are things that have really helped my baby and myself too, but more specifically my baby, whether he's teething, because when a baby's teething, they could sometimes get a fever, or if they have a full-blown like sickness and they're really sick. I found these homeopathic remedies super beneficial. I'm actually gonna grab them really quick because they are honestly amazing. Okay, I don't have them here, but I will put it up. The first is by Boiron. It's the Camellia Teething Drops, and it's for diarrhea, teething, restlessness. They also have ones for like colicky babies, I think, and fever as well too. I will post a picture up here of what it looks like. Guys, I don't even know what's in it, but it is godsend. And Michael now, whenever he has a fever or he's teething, he sees it and he's just like, give it to me, because he knows that it like works instantly and it gives him that relief. And I love it, and it works really well. Another one, I will take a picture and post it up here as well. It is another homeopathic medicine. It's for fever and just like pain as well. And so we will sometimes give him that too if he's having a fever, and that really helps, just a few drops. When he was younger, I would just like put on my nipple and he would just nurse from that as well. If you're not nursing and you're giving them like formula or just like regular milk, you could even just mix it into like their yogurt or formula or whatever. It is flavored, I believe that it's a cherry flavor, so just be mindful of that. I would just even just put it in their mouth and do it that way. But that thing, super beneficial as well. Those two brands have actually really good medicine alternatives, homeopathic medicine alternatives that you could give your baby, and has been super beneficial. Again, I'm not a doctor in any sense, but I just know that it has been like night and day difference when I give them to Michael when he's sick, and it really just helps them sleep and just kind of manage those symptoms when they are sick. And when they are sick for the first time, you're just like so scared. You're just like, what is happening? It's just like you've unlocked a new fear of just like your baby getting sick. So I know it's scary, guys. And so we just like to take a very natural approach that, if your baby or yourself temperature is rising, you obviously want to monitor that to a certain extent and don't want to get it too high, but also you want to let your body kind of do its thing. And those signals is also naturally a good thing, right? It is your body signaling that you have to heal and there is an inflammatory response. So all of these are kind of natural to what our body needs to do in order for us to get better and heal. So I'm all for that. I like to take a temperature reading. I have one that you could put sublingual, so underneath your tongue, and we also have one that you can kind of like stick on their forehead or in the ear. I like the one you could put sublingual because you could also put it in their armpit as well. And so I'll use a combination of both because I find I get a more accurate reading from the sublingual one rather than the one that you just like take on your forehead. So I like to both just in case, but those are things that I use just to kind of like monitor. And then the last tip, again, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, is just like resetting your expectation. Give yourself a lot of grace, guys. Like, just surrender to it. I find that sometimes, and I've been someone who does this, where I'll be on my phone and I'll scroll, I'll be like, shit, like I feel like I've ruined my progress, I've slowed down my progress, this is just another thing that has broken off my consistency. And sometimes we could beat ourselves up and just kind of spiral, especially as a mom, because it already is really tough to stay consistent. And so all I want to say is that this period is temporary. You have to give yourself a lot of grace, but also just make sure that you have things in the bag that you could utilize when these things do come up. And so, stay off social media, just be with your baby, or just like sleep whenever possible. Like, try to make sure that you're promoting recovery as much as you can. And that can mean what you're consuming online. That is still a sense of stress that your body can signal within your body that we just, they don't know, our bodies don't know what is, a tiger attacking us versus what we see online on social media, right? So just try to minimize that, minimize your expectations of things that you like got to do and your to-do list, like the laundry, like cleaning the house, little like errands and things that I know in our brain, our mom brains, we have 100 tabs open in our heads constantly. But if I could be that mom to you to say, hey, give yourself some grace. You need to rest because you have a responsibility, right? We have a responsibility to take care of our kids. You need to focus on yourself and not the other things, and just give yourself permission to not do that. So I hope that you found these tips helpful. Again, these are things that have helped us over the years, even before being sick, and now even before being a mom, but now being a mom too. And so again, if you guys have any tips and just like natural remedies as well that have helped you. Also, I know that this is another tip as well, where you put apple cider vinegar on socks and you put it on your feet. I've heard that before. That really helps. I haven't done that myself or for my baby, but I know that can kind of help with like fever. Anyways, let me know if you heard something like that too. Would love to hear you guys in the comments. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know too. Again, thank you for watching. And if you like this type of thing, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so that you are going to get notified when new videos come up. And so we'll see you in the next video.